What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Bitchuation Room podcast live stream. I am your host, Francesca Fiorentini. Back from self-imposed maternity leave from a job that I am the boss of me at. Does that make sense? I am back soon. Turns out I gave birth pretty soon after the last show on October 4th. Baby born on October 7th. Same birthday as Vladimir Putin. We're already winning. Or losing. But also it's Tom York's birthday, and that's dope as shit. So like it's all good. It evens out. I'm here. I have come on to the other side, broken through into motherhood. Still can't believe it. I don't know how many times you have to get shit on until to become a mom. Like I feel like it's like by the 58th shit, it's like burr, 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 and someone comes out and actually just like slaps a badge on you and you're like, you're a mom, that kind of thing. But it's been it's been a lot. It's been a lot. It's been great. It's a magical time and it's incredible. I didn't change it for the world. I would like to sleep. So anyway, bear with me. It's going to be a great show because we have Nelini Stamp from Working Families Party. We have Kurt Braunholer from fucking all the things. He has a new comedy special out right now, today. Hilarious comic. You've seen him on a bunch of stuff. So super excited to dive in with both of them into what happened in the past few weeks. Oh, the little red wave that never materialized. Downgraded to a category 1 before it even made landfall. Yeah, a little splish splash. But no, very excited about what the midterms mean for a little bit of ray of hope for the future. So we're going to break all that down. We're also going to have a final segment. Trump 2024, y'all. It's going to happen. Maybe now, maybe by the time you're watching or listening to this. What's a winning slogan? What's a winning slogan for this loser? It's not MAGA anymore, guys. Let's step it up. So we're going to play that game with my guests. And then finally, a bonus bish for the patrons, Elon Musk. Just, I mean, really tripling down, tweeting through the madness. And what do we think is going to happen? Is Twitter going to go bankrupt? Do we stay and fight? Do we flee? Do we go to Mastodon? I was like, oh, I'll go to Mastodon. Immediately didn't understand anything. I was like, look, I need to TikTok first, then Mastodon. Still don't understand how to do a TikTok. Still don't know. So patreon.com/Bitchuation Room to become part of the Frantifa, to support this show, to support, my child and my family. And, it's you who make the show possible. You can also tip the show, TBR-Live on Venmo, TBR Live on Cash App. Everything helps. Everything is wonderful. And of course, if you can't throw down, I understand. Just give this podcast 5 stars on iTunes. That helps people discover it. And, like and share the stream right now. Become a member. No, just subscribe to the channel. If you're on Twitch, sup. I hope you've also subscribed. And yeah, dude, if I seem a little out of it, it's because I've only had 5 hours of intermittent sleep. That's right. Not enough time to enter REM at all. Final note, this show is going to be at Sketchfest in San Francisco in January. That is January 22nd. It's a Sunday, throwback to when we used to do the show on Sundays, 8 o'clock. I believe at Piano Fight, but you can go to sfsketchfest.com. I believe that's the website. Get tickets. It'll be great. Nato Green will be live. I will be live. That's right. And more guests TBD, but we're going to be there. Paige, our producer, is going to be there. It'll be lovely. It'll be awesome. And with that, guys, let's get into it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the show. Let's do it. What are you bitching about? My baby does not smile at me. She smiles at her dad. And that's fucking obnoxious. All right? That's not okay. I am just like, so the milk fountain's here. I'm just going to scream until the milk fountain gives me what I want, but then I'm going to smile at him. Yeah. And by the way, it's like a I have a mustache smile, meaning like he's got a mustache, he's kissing her, and it's a tickly thing. It's a total reaction. I'm jealous. And I think that's wrong. I just get like milk drunk, like if you're listening as a podcast, just imagine like just a puffy, baby lipped, like distasteful, thank you for feeding me. Ugh. Like that's the face I get. Matt gets the smile. So yeah. Everyone drag my baby on Twitter. That's what I want you to do. Drag her. I have other things to bitch about, specifically about the Republicans and the difference between election deniers and non-election deniers, but I'll talk about that later. That's the main thing I want to say. Also, the fact that fucking whoever said having a newborn was easy never said having a newborn was easy. So I want to fight nobody who said that to me. The shit is hard. The shit is crazy. The shit is rough. I want to write down all the things that I've been learning because, like, you talk to a parent now and they're like, oh, I've completely obliterated that. I had that surgically removed from my brain when I became a parent. So I wouldn't have to remember how tough the first few weeks are. And I'm like, cool. That doesn't help me right now. Anyway, we're working through it. Everything's danger. All the things that work for this baby, by the way, are all the things that are like, oh, that's going to kill it. And you're like, yeah, I know. But it's also going to give me an hour of sleep. So what do we do? Anywho, with that, let's bring in my comic guest for the hour and change. He co-hosts the Strange News podcast, Bananas, and he performed on Jimmy Fallon this week. Everybody go watch that on YouTube. And his new comedy special, Perfectly Stupid, with some amazing dad humor, quite good, is out right now. On Amazon, YouTube, Google Play, Vudu. What else is it on? Kurt Braunholer, what's up?
Hello. How are you?
Good. Very good. I didn't mean dad humor like it's dad jokes, but like
It is fine. It is about becoming a dad. It is about family, but I think it's a good version of that thing.
But I think my jokes are good.
I think I hope they're specific and unique to me.
Well, you did get a big shout out in the New York Times, although, as you pointed out on your Instagram, they didn't put your name in the title, even though it was like a really glowing review.
It was really nice. It was a very nice review. It was a weird review to get because it shit on like a bunch of my friends and then was very nice to me.
You were like, cool. So funny.
But oh my God, the first 6 weeks, my heart goes out to you. That is I feel like nobody talks about how dark that time is. And
yeah.
I want no one to forget. I will never forget because I talk about it all the time. I was like deeply depressed. My wife was deeply depressed, and we felt bad for being depressed because we're supposed to be so happy. But that sleep deprivation thing is real, man. It's deeply real.
Yeah. I somehow can function on 2 hours of sleep at a time. And I'll take a 20-minute nap and be like, wow, I feel completely rejuvenated. But it's definitely the, like, you don't know what tomorrow, like, parents basically do the same thing to me. They're like, just enjoy every moment. It's going to end really soon. And in the same breath, be like, just one day at a time. There's no way out but through. Fucking breathe, and you're like, well, which is it?
Which is it? Yeah.
Is it fast or is it slow? Kurt, maybe related to this or not, or anything you want. What are you bitching about today, November 15th?
Bitching about toilets. We just potty trained my youngest.
Okay.
And so I've been thinking a lot about toilets. And I do feel like
congrats, by the way.
Thank you so much. I do feel like in 20 years, when my children and I are waiting outside with our bats to beat the people off coming to deliver the water, beat other people off from getting our water delivery,
right.
They're
feral
gonna find
dogs.
it. Yeah, they're gonna find it so hilarious that for my entire life, I pissed and shat into perfectly good drinking water 2 to 8 gallons at a time. Every day of my life, perfectly good drinking water. How have we not figured this? How have we not come up with a situation that's not this? This one is insane.
Yeah. Yep. Yes,
It's
it is.
so
That
insane.
that is a very good point. I mean, I will say that in Los Angeles, I don't know if it's perfectly good drinking water. I must say that might be water to poo-poo in.
I mean, it's the same here. When I say it's perfectly good drink, it's the same water that comes out of your tap.
Yes. Indeed it does. That is so funny. And yet back to like everything with climate change, it's like all individualized.
Yeah.
Because I know people with like a compostable toilet. They basically shit into like like hamster
Yeah.
hamster tan bark or whatever that stuff is.
Yeah. In their
Shavings.
house or
Yeah.
outside?
In their house that
Oh,
they've
okay.
rigged it so I think it like might dump out. I don't know.
Oh,
I
I
don't
see.
want to
Yeah.
know.
Mhm.
But it's like, do you want to be the first person to do that and just kind of feel good about yourself? Like, I don't know.
I finally did the thing that I've been meaning to do for a long time, and I just got a bucket that I keep in the shower for when the shower's warming up. And now I do all of my like plant watering from the bucket that just fills up as it goes from cold to hot.
That's so
Uh,
good.
and at least that feels like it's a drop in the bucket. You know, it doesn't
Literally,
matter
yeah.
at all. But if I feel better about it.
No, I am married to Matt is not a very water conscious person. And so he does the like run the water, go do a thing and come back. And I'm just like, it's like nails on a chalkboard to my like, lib ass Northern California sensibility. And I was like, but yeah, we are shitting into perfectly potable drinking water. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can also wash yourself with just like one little bucket. Like you don't need all that water to like soap down the important parts.
I think people are going to be get behind that.
Oh, really?
And more behind just having gray water in your toilet. My suggestion is whatever like you wash your dishes in, like that should just go over to your toilet, right?
Yes.
I feel
And
like
you
people
can
are good. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, and you can flush a toilet by just throwing a bunch of water in it. I remember when I
Oh,
first learned
yes.
that you could do that, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, that it's not there's no mechanics to it. It's just water level.
Yeah. There's no Keebler elves in my toilet. Good thing to bitch about. I love it. Let's bring in my my next guest, National Director in Strategy and Partnerships at Working Families Party, where she's been working on racial and economic justice for over a decade, including with Dream Defenders and Mi Gente, and it is her goddamn birthday. Please welcome Nelini Stamp.
Hey y'all.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. It's
And
great to age another year.
there we go. Another trip around the sun. Nelini is wearing a necklace that says "Eat the Rich." There we go.
It's a great one. It's a great one.
That is gorgeous. Is that on sale on AOC's website? We're gonna get mad about it. Sorry, I'm just referencing someone being mad that like she has like a $36 sweatshirt, and it's because it's union made. Anyway, she purveys from the same place that we have our merch, bitchuationroom.com. I digress. Nelini, before we get into the fucking midterms, what are you bitching about today?
Well, I just got a happy birthday email from my management company, even though that they have not responded to the fact that there are many broken things in my actual apartment. I got like an automated, like, it's your birthday with the little candle on. I literally just saw it. And I'm like, can you guys answer about my goddamn like heat not working fully to the extent? That's what I'm mad about in this moment. It's like, really? You can send me a happy birthday message, but not fix my heat. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, doesn't that they sent you a little emoji? There was like cake.
There's a whole email.
That is really funny. That's amazing.
Yeah. I do get more texts from Jersey Mike's than some friends. So I do feel those automated texts. So
for your birthday, there's always that one friend who you're like kind of waiting, like they kind of miss it, but then Jersey Mike's will send you something, and you should just screenshot that and send it to your friend.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for it. That's like what we do to our parents, basically, like send them a text message rather than like calling them. Anywho. Yeah. Fix your damn heat, everybody. Fix Nelini's heat. If you're listening, management company. I was like, what are we talking about? Management company. Oh, building management. Got it.
Yeah.
there's so much to get into. Thank you guys for being here, for jumping in. Please chat. We will read some of your comments at the end. But first, not promising these are good jokes, but this is my weekly roundup. Tiffany Trump got married to a millionaire's son at Mar-a-Lago, and Daddy Donald Trump gave her away, something he's wanted to do from the moment she was born. Just give her away. In an angry bleat on Truth Social against Ron DeSantis, Trump seemed to imply that he used the federal government to help Ron rig his 2018 Florida victory. This is real. And I'm like, what? I love that Trump is like both the mob boss and the rat, like at the same time. And he thinks he can never go down. Trump loves admitting to crimes, like the loves of his life are like filet of fish, the song Macho Man, fantasizing about his daughter, admitting to crimes. Whatever. Israel has once again tapped Bibi Netanyahu to form a government, bringing together an ultra-nationalist far-right coalition. They represent a growing extremism in the country from settlers who are like our MAGA rednecks. And you know what they call MAGA rednecks, right? Netanyahu's. All right, that's that one. Jeff Bezos says he'll give away the majority of his $124 billion of fortune within his lifetime, which is the equivalent of me saying I'll become a billionaire within my lifetime. Like, that's just not going to happen. Obviously, we're all thinking, why don't you just give that money to your workers, your drivers, the people, the businesses you've destroyed? But of course, he wants that tax break. He wants that write-off from the minimal taxes he makes. So if he's got to give it to some fucking charity, or into a fund to help draft Leonardo DiCaprio to make love to his wife and let him watch. Sorry, because there's like that photo of them, and there was anyway. Meta laid off 11,000 workers this week. Who would have thought that doubling down on virtual space while everyone spent 2 solid years on Zoom was a terrible fucking idea? The only person whose personality and haircut got better in VR was Mark Zuckerberg. Because the graphics can only give you straight lines of like, it's just like, hell yeah. I'm crushing it. And finally, the UN chief says Earth is on a, quote, highway to climate hell. And that's just terrible. Like, we're in trouble when we can't even get like a light rail to climate hell. That's fucked. For everything else, this is the week where. This was the week where midterm elections showed that nobody cares really about trans women in women's sports. Nobody really cares about drag shows. No, people care about the fucking work, like the economy, the ability to put food on the table. They care about reining in the cops. No, that narrative of fucking being tough on crime did not work because the Democrats maintain the goddamn Senate, maybe +1. It looks like the House is going to be a lot more difficult, but there was no red wave. It did not materialize. With the win in Nevada of Cortez Masto in the Senate, the Dems are maintaining control of it. Obviously, Warnock and Walker somehow are going to a fucking runoff. I still don't believe that that's happening. A lot of actually state governments have swung Democrat. Democrats gained full control of state governments in Massachusetts, Maryland, Minnesota, Michigan. Republicans consolidated power in Florida, North Carolina, Wisconsin, and Iowa. So it's a mixed bag when it comes to state houses and state governments. But this was huge. This was big. I did like a fucking embarrassing like victory dance, when the Democrats won and kept the Senate. And let's be real, it doesn't save us, but it saves us it's a little bit of a reprieve from shit was getting dark. I mean, shit was like, before when I started maternity leave or whatever, it was like, well, Marjorie Taylor Greene's going to be Trump's running mate. And it was here are all the election deniers. It was just like, it was getting real bad. And then, hey, turns out people don't want authoritarians and fascists in just going over the list before I kick it to you guys. Blake Masters defeated in Arizona, like a total racist, white supremacist darling.
Yeah.
Don Bolduc in New Hampshire defeated. In the House, John Gibbs of Michigan defeated. These are all Trumpers. J.R. Majewski, that idiot who like basically lied and said that he served in the army and he never did. Governors Doug Mastriano in Pennsylvania, Carrie Lake in Arizona with that fucking haircut, thinking she's all smooth and shit. Like, I know about journalism because I read the news on television locally. Like, and then of course you got Mehmet Oz, you guys. Mehmet Oz going down, just in a face full of crudité, losing to Fetterman, despite Fetterman having a stroke, debating on a national stage, with recovering from that stroke. But like, it's just the power of real progressive ideas and something different, and kicking a fucking elitist, out of touch a-hole Mehmet Oz out of it. So lastly, Lauren Boebert is headed to probably a runoff too, like a recount. She's within 11,000 votes of losing her reelection to Adam Frisch, who is a Democrat, which is
sweet.
Fucking love it. So thoughts? How did this happen? This has not happened in decades, where the party in control of the White House does not lose seats in a midterm election.
I mean, I'm just shocked that, because it is amazing that people said no to fascism, but they just said no. It's still like 49% are like, we're pressing the gas on fascism. Yeah. We're still very interested in it. And that's the thing that terrifies me the most.
Totally. How close these are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely terrifying because of the direction that's going, but it's also pretty satisfying to see the work of progressives and organizers, because we out-organized even the Democrats. I mean, we knocked on, in Pennsylvania, the Working Families Party and Unite Here and SEIU, all these labor unions, community organizations, knocked on over 1 million doors.
Wow.
And it took it was discipline. There was a lot of discipline on the left and in progressive spaces to knock on doors and to actually talk to people. So that was it was really great that a lot of people are like, the left, you're never disciplined, you're all ugh. But it's really great to see that we were actually disciplined, we were on point, we won, and we did the impossible too. Young people, it's not just about the turnout as well, but also we low propensity voters, as they like to call them, Black folks who don't, Latinos, folks who don't vote in midterms, young people, they turned out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's there's two parts to this narrative, right? And you see most mainstream outlets going how come fascism isn't hitting the way it used to? And they're all giving the credit. How do they need to retool? They give all the credit to, because it was Republicans' election to lose. And so I understand that that's the angle. But of course, they're never necessarily talking about, that grassroots organizing that WFP and others did. But I did want to just, what do you guys think this means for the future of Trumpers and Trumpism? I mean, I'll go first and just say, look, it matters that these election deniers, that they lost. A lot of them were running for attorney general in different states, and I think only one succeeded. That's huge. These are obviously the folks. I mean, this is basically what Brian Kemp successfully did to Stacey Abrams in 2018, but shutting folks out of their polling places, contributing to all kinds of making it difficult to vote. There's a discussion which is, it doesn't matter. They're all Republicans. They're all going to fall in line under Trump. And I understand that. I understand they vote along the same lines, that a Republican is a Republican. But I think the difference for me, and this is something that has been bothering me, the one difference is, do you believe that the more votes wins the election or not? Will you accept results? Do you understand basic electoral math of I got more, I win, you got less, you lose? That is the only difference. Yeah, they all want tax breaks. Yeah, they all fearmonger around immigrants. Yeah, they all demonize trans people. But do you think that 2 + 2 = 4?
Well, what's interesting too is that I understand how Trump is the election denier, because the last however many Republican presidents who have won did not win the popular vote and lost the popular vote by millions and millions of fucking votes.
Right.
And I cannot believe that the Electoral College still exists, and we should fucking throw it out. It's insane to me. And so, of course, they're like, it doesn't matter, because the popular vote doesn't matter in their minds.
They've actually been told that you can just rig it in your favor, and they've seen it work for them.
They've seen it work over and over again. And then the other thing, it's like, I'm sorry about the noise, but the other thing that is pretty wild is that, like, the reason also becoming an election denier, because he knew he was going to lose. That's the other thing. It's like, they know when they know that they're going to lose, they like to create chaos. Right? They want a bunch of people who don't believe in the system, who don't believe in the basics of democracy, right?
Yeah.
It's like, there's a bunch of stuff that they also want people to not believe in government, right? They don't want to, and I understand, right? Like, government there's been a lot of different things about the United States government in the history, right?
Yeah.
Good, bad, ugly, terrible, right? But at the end of the day, like, they want you to not believe. That's why they defund it, right? They actually, right? They don't invest. And so that is a product of that.
Yeah.
When they're just like, we don't care, because this whole thing is just our playground.
Totally. I mean, I'm of the mind that Trump's election was the most cynical election in our lifetimes. It was and it continues 100%. To be, right? But it was fuck it all. It doesn't matter anymore. Just let a strong man, whatever, take over. Let's talk about the issues that actually did matter quickly to people, because we were told that it was about crime. We were told that it was about, like, the price of gas only. And then it turns out that, like the Inflation Reduction Act, as it was named, but actually, like, putting some investment into people's lives really does help. Showing that you're serious about climate change, even minimally, does help. Student debt relief does help. And all that, as to Nelini's point, was because of organizers nipping at the heels and fucking staying on this issue, to say nothing of abortion rights. So you got massive turnout from women. Voters in 5 states that had ballot measures about abortion, they all voted to defend and or expand abortion rights. Working people's issues, raising the minimum wage, I believe, in Nebraska. Let's see. DC ended the sub-minimum wage. Arizona cracked down on medical debt. Illinois protected workers' rights. South Dakota expanded Medicaid. Don't get me started on this Medicaid shit. We all know the ACA expanded Medicaid, and Republicans in a bunch of states have held out on it, even though it would help hundreds of thousands of people. Legalizing weed in Missouri and Maryland. So a lot of stuff. We see what people want, right? And I guess my question, Nelini, to you is, do you feel like is the window closing on Republicans to totally, like, fuck us out of our vote and democracy? Like, are we, like, I feel like we're wedging our foot in the door and being like, not so fast, assholes. Like, we're gonna, as voters get younger and or get older, they're kind of showing up, and we have this, like, moment to actually protect, just the basics of democracy in this country.
I think that we do have a moment. I mean, I think that they overplayed. I mean, look, this was a 40-year play to overturn Roe versus Wade, right? It was decades in the making. And I think that they overshot themselves. I think that, like, they didn't it caught, like, the decades moved, but they were still playing a strategy that was like, oh, okay, yeah, if it was the 1980s, I don't know if people would have been turning out in the same way, right? And so, but they just kept on it, and they kept on it, which is why they won, because they were just like, we got to get the Supreme Court, we got to get this.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. So I do think that, like, that really pushed a line, but I do think it's really hard. Like, people, it's, when you think about working people across the country, like, paychecks have not raised, right? Like, everything is expensive. You have, I mean, in the country now, like, right, like 71% of people support labor unions, which is also crazy. Like, that never happened in my lifetime. Like, 71% of Americans support. That's huge, right? So I think it's like, it could go in either way, right? You have this, like, pro-worker, pro-democracy, pro-human rights track. And then you have this, like, this fascist track. And the thing about fascism, they will allow, the far right will allow anybody to carry that message. So I just think that we can't just rest on our laurels about like, oh, Trump might not be good, but DeSantis, here he comes. And honestly, DeSantis scares me more because he's a zealot. That is like, it's been his bread and butter for a really long time. So I think that we like, it's a choice to be made. And I think that this election showed that.
For sure.
Who do we think is more beatable? Is it Trump or is it DeSantis?
Trump, I think. I just think that he's just not. And I think DeSantis has Florida is a big state, and it is a huge state in the Electoral College, and they keep voting him in. So yeah,
I think they're both massive losers. Like I'll be straight up with you. I disagree that DeSantis is scarier. I think DeSantis is a fucking idiot, and I don't think he can do shit without. First of all, he can't do shit without Trump's endorsement, and he's never going to get it because Trump wants to go head to head with him, and we can talk about that in a little bit.
Oh, that's interesting.
So DeSantis has to bend the knee to Trump, number one. Number two, he doesn't have the Trump je ne sais, fucking Mussolini. He doesn't have what Trump has in terms of star power. And
that's, there were thousands of people here to see DeSantis in Pennsylvania when he came with Mastriano.
I guess I understand the idea of like a more dangerous, a more effective fascist. Like I understand that, but I'm also like, I don't think that Trumpism is transferable. I might disagree. I might disagree that that it's just super transferable. I don't think they've got it 2024 in the bag. I think and you can see the way Fox News is like, oh, maybe and with tonight, if Trump announces, they're all gonna, we'll see how quickly they fall in line into what I believe will be a losing, either way, they'll be losing candidates. I don't know. Kurt?
It's interesting to see that Rupert Murdoch thinks DeSantis has a better chance.
Right.
Because he just all the, I don't know if you guys saw this, but the Post and all of his outlets just were immediately like, Trump is over. And it's just oh, he's going hard for DeSantis. That's a scary idea as well.
Totally. Because he can, because they can they can marionette anybody,
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to shout out Todd Roy, who says DeSantis is like if the word awkward became human. I mean, yeah, he's not good. He does not communicate well. And I'm not being very communicative, but you know what I'm saying? He just doesn't have it. I'm more scared of someone like a Carrie Lake. I'm more scared of someone who is just like a fucking, anyway, just kind of slimy, virulent asshole. I don't get that, but anyway, we'll see. We shall see. I just want to shout out the squad has grown in this last election, right? So by I think 7 reps, including Maxwell Frost of Florida. So while Florida Dems totally ate it, not Maxwell Frost. He's the first Gen Zer to be a sitting member of Congress. I was like, now AOC must feel old. I'm like, oh, AOC, you old girl. Summer Lee from Pennsylvania, who just bucked all that AIPAC money that was thrown to her opposition candidate. Again, which is wonderful. I fucking love that. And she's excellent. Delia Ramirez from Illinois. And the list goes on and on. So I do want to talk about, this is the second highest youth midterm turnout in the past 30 years, youth being 18 to 29-year-olds. And AOC said in a recent interview, look, by 2024, millennials and Gen Z voters are going to outnumber the boomers. So like I said, we're putting our foot in the door and we're wedging it open. And yeah, if this is also the one election where my mom and or other lovely boomers, love my mom, she's helping me out a lot, but they always do the thing after elections, which is like, well, the youth didn't really turn out, did they? And you're like, there is none of that narrative. You cannot say that at all. Young people definitely turned out and prevented this from being that red wave. So thoughts. So, I mean, the flip side of this, and I want to ask Nelini you this, the flip side of this is progressives are growing, but Democrats are losing the House. What happened? And that is Well, some of these centrist Democrat incumbents ain't hitting anymore. They're not working anymore. So some of those 6 Democrats who lost their reelection bids are members of the centrist coalition called the New Democrats Coalition. We saw Sean Patrick Maloney in New York, chair of the DCCC, who in the redistricting kerfuffle booted Mondaire Jones, a squad member, progressive, and then lost his fucking election. So there is a lot of blame, but it's not going to young progressives. It's going to older centrist Democrats.
Yeah. I mean, the rest of the country went left or went blue while New York went red. Like the whole state,
Wow.
like locally went red. If it wasn't for the votes on the Working Families Party line for Kathy Hochul, which in New York we have fusion voting, like we were the threshold for her to win. Or it would have been Lee Zeldin, who's like a mini little Trump, has been building a fiefdom in Long Island for quite some time, and has been a character in New York State politics. And it's just like, you have folks like AOC calling for the removal of Jade Jacobs, for him to resign, who is the head of the Democrats there. And particularly Sean Patrick Maloney. Oh, I got so much to say about that man. But not only he spent all of the DCCC money on his race. He poured $6 million instead of, right now we're in, vote counting in Colorado 3, I believe, with Lauren Boebert. Like, why that money, even $500,000, maybe would have gotten some more votes.
Yeah.
And we could have beaten Lowen, whatever her name is. Guns.
Yeah.
Like Bobo. And so, like, he poured into his own race. And that's when it gets really frustrating, that it's not just that they don't actually care about what's on the line. They care about their own little fiefdoms and their own power. And you saw what happened where New York Democrats are in a bit of a crisis, which, you know what, thank God, finally, if it wasn't for Cuomo and it wasn't ever, it's just like, we've all been known that they're not the best. And, now we're seeing it. And it really sucks, because it's like, we could have won the House.
Yes. And another race people are mad about money not going to is Jamie McLeod Skinner in Oregon's 5th, who was a progressive and just didn't working at WFP put money behind her, but DCCC, there was not a lot of money coming from the big Dem donors. So and then obviously in California, but on to the point of New York, what it says a lot that these blue states are the reason that the Democrats are losing the House. It says that they've just fucking let their own, their yard. Why am I giving this metaphor? I don't even really have a yard. The yard is growing over. They're not taking care of their own side of the street, I guess is what I should say. And in terms of like the last laugh, I just think about Cuomo, because Cuomo orchestrated this whole thing in New York with like the redistricting, the conservative judges, the handshake with Republicans, and here we are. Can you explain a little bit more, Nelini, because you understand it better than I do, what happened in New York and how this redistricting fucked the control of the House?
Yeah, so the state legislator, for folks, redistricting works that, every 10 years, state legislators, they get the new census numbers and they redistrict, they redraw lines. The state legislator voted to redraw the lines, and like they came up with districts, all of this stuff, pretty favorable. And then in a act of just a lot of things happened, but basically we had to have a special master. I kid you not. The title of this person was a special master to redraw the lines because they weren't fair enough. In history, Republicans gerrymander districts all the time.
Yeah.
And not one I didn't even know the special master freaking existed. I didn't even know that was a thing.
I love how rules only apply to Democrats, and they never, like, who the fuck heard of a parliamentarian before Biden got in there? And you're like, what the fuck? There's a fucking parliamentarian? Like, yeah, we have rules. And you're like, you do?
Special master.
A maester.
Called him master. Like, it was just, maester. And so redrew the lines. And then, so a lot of people were up against each other. Like, Mondaire and Sean Patrick Maloney were basically districted, because people live in their homes. They were districted. And Sean Patrick Maloney said, you go run in Brooklyn. That's upstate New York. And I was, as somebody who's organized in like, the lower Hudson Valley as well as New York City, I was like, what in the actual is this? This is absolutely. And then also, because Mondare went to this other seat, he ran against Yulene, who was a progressive, who almost won. And then we got this centrist, which, it's super liberal district, so it wasn't going to go right. But we got this centrist millionaire from Brooklyn Heights. So not only did they like F the Democratic Party, they F'd it in every single possible way. Like districting, another seat, losing seats, like every single way you could F up things. New York Democrats
did it, crushing it. God damn.
We did it. We did it.
That's so, yes, I remember because Yulene and Mondare went against each other and split the vote.
He was gonna move.
Right. No, it's fucked. One person we haven't talked about, and I'm curious, Kurt, on your thoughts, how moved you were when you saw Hillbilly Elegy for the 5th time. I'm sure you enjoyed that incredible Amy Adams performance. Glenn Close. Tim Ryan was booted out of Ohio by JD Vance. JD Vance of, author of Hillbilly Elegy. There he is with his potato face, now in the Senate. Not going to be joined by Mehmet Oz, thank God. But what do you think that's about? Is it the star power? Is it because people were forced to read Hillbilly Elegy because they saw it at Hudson News on their flight, and they were like, I guess. I've read the Da Vinci Code, so I might as well read this.
It is. I remember watching it. I turned it off after like 30 minutes just because the writing was so bad. In the movie itself, the writing was so bad. I remember just thinking, I was like, there was like a scene where the hillbilly is like at a dinner or something. And it's like, oh, this hillbilly's he's not used to being at a dinner.
Like doesn't know how to use a fork. It's like Little Mermaid.
He doesn't know how to use a fork. It was literally like, which fork do I choose? And it's like, okay, maybe let's not do the fork thing. Like, let's not do the fork thing as an example of like, I don't know what I'm doing. I expected like a Crocodile Dundee version of like him putting his like shoe into a bidet or something, being like, oh, is this not what a toilet shoe is for? It was just so over the top and stupid.
So true.
But I think people were just like, well, this guy is the dumbest person in the planet. Let's put him in charge.
It was, it reminds me, it's like a dinner scene that is not unlike the scene from Borat, the first movie, where he brings his shit to the table. You're like, that's essentially what it was. And oh God.
It is. It was like insulting to hillbillies.
It was. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. It really was.
But of course, at the time, and again, this is like, at the time, it was right after Trump was elected, and he was positioning himself as like the anti-Trumper. Like, I know Trump's bad, but you don't listen to the working class, white people, white working class, and at the time, everyone was so like, we're in our bubbles, and liberals were like beating themselves. Like, maybe we should be more racist, but like openly, and it was crazy. That time I pitched a show around that time, which was a terrible time to pitch a show because it actually gave me insight to like every executive in like entertainment was not trying to have the show was like kind of a ballsy lefty kind of like it was called Social Justice Warriors, ironically, and all the people we pitched to were like, I don't know, this seems a little like mean to to Republicans. Like they were so worried about Republican feelings and MAGA feelings. You guys remember that moment, right? And now it's
100%.
Now we all know that they don't. That shit's done. No one's tiptoeing around their feelings. Anywho, any thoughts on? Let's just talk about what happens next. Nelini, what do you think needs to happen? What do you think Biden needs to do? What do you think he's gonna do? He's made some remarks which I kind of liked, which are like, yeah, of course we won. I'm glad we won. We had good candidates. It wasn't this like, oh yeah, wing and a prayer, we did it, blah. But what do you think Biden's got to do now? What do you think the Democratic Party's got to do now to actually deliver? I hope it has something to do with the filibuster.
I mean, I think here's the thing. That is all going to depend on what happens in Georgia and how the House goes down. Like you can't, if it's a 50-50 split Senate, Manchin, Sinema, they're still in charge and they're not going to pass the filibuster reform, right? So it really, really, really depends on how the rest of the House plays out, because also what's going on, which I find fascinating right now, is the absolute shit show, that the Republicans are in right now, like Rick Scott running for, like him taking down, like I say, like the girls are fighting, are fighting really hard. And even if the Republicans have a small majority, that actually makes Marjorie Taylor Greene and her faction more powerful, right? Anytime you actually have a small majority, just like it was just now, like the Squad and progressives were more powerful because it was a small majority and you can move votes. So it really depends on what's going to happen and how the House is going to go down and where the results are in Georgia. But if it goes down in a good way, hopefully filibuster reform, I think that's really a lot of what they can do is just like change the rules. They're not going to be able to pass that much with the House being so
kill the parliamentarian.
Oh God, that parliamentarian. I think that there's like some things that they can do. And, I do think that the Republicans are going to be like, I think there's an interesting, like some Republicans may cave on some stuff. With small majorities, like things can go in a lot of different ways. And if their party is like, if there's so much infighting, it's like really going to be with where they're at too. And so over the next 2 months, it's actually going to be, and I'm really curious to see what, Biden's State of the Union speech is going to be on, because I think that that's going to set the whole way for his, last 2 years of his first term.
Well, it's funny because you saw Biden for the first time actually do a little bit of us and them, because it's a literal election and he's got to, but he hates doing the us and them. He's like, no, Republicans are good. Some of them did want to kill me and like storm the Capitol, but like he's finally had to be like red team, blue team here, and like, oh, our people won. And so I'm like, good, buddy, that's moving in the right direction. But
his speech, and I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to pick up on what you said in terms of the slim majority matters, but also the slim majority of the House can be picked off, especially around those issues like abortion rights, which are insanely popular even in red states. Look at fucking, what is it? Kansas, right?
Yeah.
So you don't they don't have anything when it comes to codifying Roe. Like, I'm like, I think we can get that done. Like, I would like to at least get that done.
That would be nice. Just even codifying Roe. They don't have to do the whole women's health. I mean, I want to see the Women's Health Protection Act, but if it just means codifying Roe to just get it through the door,
we don't need health. We don't need health.
We don't need protection or health.
We've been carrying the patriarchy for so long. We're in great shape. No health. Just give us reproductive rights, please. Yeah. So final. This is there's a lot that. Oh, I hear baby crying. Sorry. Now I'm like my spidey senses.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot to put one of the like boob pads in, so I'm probably gonna immediately start to leak. Yay! TMI, being a mom.
And then do you feel the dump, like just the dump of serotonin stress chemicals the moment you hear the cry? Because I still have it, which is like
the
baby crying. Yeah, any baby.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and you're just like, oh. What can I feed?
I gotta take care of it.
Can I help you? I absolutely feel that way. Any final thoughts on this? Well, we can move on. Actually, let's move on to our final segment. Because it seems as though, unless my sources have changed, my sources being Twitter, that Donald Trump is indeed going to announce that he is running again in 2024. Surprise. And he's at it again. Just no, like the car is the clown car, no wheels, just straight hubcap, just sliding along. Rudy's gonna be recruited again. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be amazing. And I want to know what's it gonna take for him to win? What's a better slogan? What can we do? What's the pitch? How is this time going to be different? This is Losers Winning Slogan. what do we think is gonna actually put people over the edge? Will they come out to vote for their prince, their king of kings, their Jesus? I have not thought about this that much. Make America great again. Maybe it's again squared. Like, do you put a little?
No, my pitch is magma. So it's make America great. Make again. Because it's the dumbest idea for him to run.
Magma.
Everyone is an idiot who's voting for him. Make America great. Make again.
Make America make again. It's got double meaning too. It's like, it's a little bit like, we don't make anything anymore.
Yeah. And also it will represent magma, which is the lava that will destroy the country.
Absolutely. Hell yeah. There's nothing hotter than lava.
Yeah, bro.
It's it's big with third graders, which is their reading level and their intellectual level. I like it. I think we got to move on from I think we have to make the red hat bigger. That's what I think. I think it's just got to be top hats. Bring back just straight top hats, red top hats. I also think it's going to be like Trump 2024. This time you can wear the hood, you get, I don't know, you get the flex cuffs, and you get little, like, there needs to be some kind of pack, like a subscription service. I'm trying to think of some sort of like subscription service, like you subscribe to a magazine, you get little like prizes and things. And I feel like it's like, yeah, if you issue a death threat against Nancy Pelosi, you win, whatever it is, you win Trump juice. Some new Trump thing. Guys, help me out in the chat, y'all. My brain ain't working. Dank Dragon says the red wave of molten rock.
Yeah.
And Cat in the Hat top hats. Absolutely. That's exactly right. First of all, I am of the mind that the reason we can't overthrow billionaires is because they stopped wearing top hats.
Yeah, we can't identify them. And the monocle. If we could bring back the monocle and top hat, we would be able to identify them in a crowd much easier.
I think that this is how, like, the robber barons of yesteryear
were defeated.
Were defeated. Exactly. There were some, like, FDR rose to power because it was like, look at all the dudes in the top hats, and they're like the copper barons and such. Yeah. And everyone was like, oh yeah, they are all wearing top hats. And now they're all just wearing like hoodies and sweats, and you can't identify them. But
Oculus Rifts.
Absolutely. We lost Nelini, but I'm sure there was a lot of things. The only thing I can't stand about another Trump run, because it's gonna be wild. I mean, like, fucking insane. The best. Just they self-troll, right? I mean, like, NATO always says, like, it's hard to make fun of these folks because we're living in a satire. They make fun of themselves all the time. Yeah. They don't need the help. And what is it? The Four Seasons.
I mean, like, immediately your head goes to that, right? I mean, like, that was just pure magic.
It was pure magic. We can't conjure that up. Like, we can't even, like, no SNL sketch, not that they're good, but like no sketch could like actually capture that. So, but I will say the thing I'm not looking forward to is if it's a Biden-Trump debate.
Yeah. We already had one. We already had a lot.
Once again, it was too much. It was already too much. And Biden's like, "Will you shut up, man?" And everyone's like, "Woo, go off, king." And it's like just an old man like shooing away a fly. Like, yeah. No, I'm not. Stop it, lies. Oh, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be good. We'll see. Did you see any photos of Trump from the wedding?
No, I have not. I have not seen any. Do we have some?
Oh, I wish I could show them.
Okay.
But
she was like, that's the daughter that was like never brought into the family, right?
Yeah, mostly because she looked more like Trump. and she's like a 6, you know. You're like, you're not hot enough. I look exactly like you. I know, that's why. No, Tiffany will be all right. I have faith. No, I don't know. She might be a horrible person, but like she's doing what she can. It's Trump and Tiffany walking down the aisle, and then like this incredible like bouquet, you know, like arch of flowers around them. And they look like they're in a Lisa Frank Trapper Keeper type situation, you know? Just have Lisa Frank and then there's Trump's face. Hey. Fucking hell, guys. This has been a fun show. It's been shorter because we've been basically just talking about the midterms the whole time. But we are going to continue and talk a little bit about Twitter, what the fuck is going to happen, and how Elon has completely, it's just gone so awry, y'all. It's gone.
It's amazing.
It's incredible. And then we're going to talk about how we all need to be on TikTok and we're fucking up and we should just be TikTok famous. And Kurt, if you didn't put all that work into your special and just focused on your TikToks, you wouldn't be doing my goddamn show right now. No. But yeah, that's been, I'm going to read some comments a little bit, but I'm like, how do we wind down this show? I forget. We have the fart song. We have thanks. We have some comments, but Kurt, first of all, everyone, how can tell us how we can get your show?
You can watch it on most streamers and most music apps as well. It's called Perfectly Stupid. If you want a list of all of the places to watch it, you can go to perfectlystupid.com and that'll just show you everywhere it's available. You can get it. Yeah, just go and enjoy it. I think you can rent it for $4.99 right now.
How much can I buy it for?
$9.99.
Ooh.
To own it.
How much of that money do you get?
None. Until we make back the money that it took to make it.
God damn it. There's a fucking, you're just on loan.
Yeah.
There's a deductible in entertainment.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm dealing with my goddamn deductibles. Anyway, Kurt Braunholer, everybody watch Perfectly Stupid right now, $4.99. You can cough that up and also catch Kurt live in Los Angeles and everywhere. And stay tuned. We're going to talk a little bit more about Twitter and Elon in just a few minutes for the patrons, patreon.com/Bitchuation Room. Thank you, Kurt. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Hell yeah. God, what a short show. What if we did a short show all the time? You guys would hate me. I know. I would hate me. I like doing a long show, but the baby was crying. And I have to leave. I gotta go. But before I go, let me read some comments from all the wonderful people. No Sacred Cow, thank you so much for your super chat saying great to see you back. Great to see you. Eileen Posner, what does Ramona think of the baby? Ramona is chill. Very interested, curious, wants to smell. As soon as starts crying, she's fucking out of there. Just donezo. Like, nope, doesn't want anything to do with it. She tried to come to bed the other night, Ramona. This is the cat, not like our mistress or not our throuple third. That'd be funny. Ramona came to bed last night. I'm sorry. Ramona tried to come to bed the other night because she usually sleeps with us. She comes into the bed and the baby immediately starts crying. Not because she was there, but just because. And she was like, nope. Bye. But yeah, that's what she thinks. Johnny Appleseed Walker, smiling at dad is a survival instinct in reference to what I was bitching about. That's exactly, I guess so. You're like, don't abandon me, father. I know I didn't come out of your womb. Please don't legislate against me. I'm sorry. Rachel Atwood, is your baby racist? Yes, but not anti-Semitic. Todd Roy, I'm bitching about the hospitals here in Nova Scotia. I just got back from waiting in outpatient since 9 a.m. this morning. We have a doctor shortage here. You mean Canada? What? That's unheard of. I thought you had the best healthcare system. Meanwhile, like I said, I'm thinking about deductibles because even when you shell out hella money for Obamacare on the marketplace, you still get hit with a lot of bills. I just got a $360 bill for the epidural because I did eventually just have an epidural because I was like, this is medieval pain. I shan't do this any longer. And then the pain relief maester came and gave me beautiful epidural that only worked on one side. Anyway, I thought all the bills were done. Nope. Ed came. Moondragon, no credit to the Dems for this victory. The right just sucks that much. I think that's a pretty good takeaway, right? Like, it's kind of a no-brainer because the right sucks so awfully. And Dems rely on that, right? They love that. They love being the like, well, you got no one but me, except in districts where they actually just lost to a Republican, like in New York. Lajo, Franny, we missed you so much. I really needed your wit to help me through the tough waiting part of election night. I was going to go live, but I decided not to because there were so many races that still weren't decided. But absolutely, I missed you all. I miss going live. I was gonna be on TYT maybe, but they had filled it up and they were like, there's no more room for you. I was like, oh my God, I didn't even want to be on anyway. Camperman 5000 AOC aged out of Congress. Wow. Lehue Venery, Franny, the bitch is back. In quotations, complimentary. Bitch as in complimentary. Thomas, Oklahoma, Trump is a right-wing extremist while DeSantis is a neoconservative. They're both poisonous in their own way. Yeah, I don't think DeSantis has the same Mussolini cajones. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think he's got what it takes to completely skirt the law. He can't crime the way Trump can crime. Yeah, he definitely cooked the books when it came to COVID and lying about the people who died and then raiding the home of the woman who was keeping track of the deaths. That was a good move, in the whole evil terms, but I'm just not sold. I think he's going to cave. I think he's going to endorse Trump. Let's see. Robert, thank you for your super chat. Joining late, but welcome back, Franny and family, the Franny family, the Franny Franmily. That's right. Camperman also saying, I will not rest until we elect a president with a beard. It's been too long. I will not rest until we elect an Italian. That's right. I'm tired of this anti-Italian discrimination. Let's get a goddamn Italian in there. I want that. That's what I want. A lot of people clamoring to see photos of the baby. Sometimes I post them on Instagram at Franny Fio, but I'll bring her on. I'll bring her on the stream at some point because I'm definitely not famous enough to blur the baby's face. You know how like famous people blur their baby's face? That's all I want out of life is just to be famous enough to be like, I have to put an emoji over my baby's face because she's famous by relation. Rachel Atwood, you miss me as an indisputable statement. Did I say that? Thank you for your super chat. And thank you to everyone who's become patrons in this time of my great need. And with that, of course, we got the fart song. Great. I hope you can all hear me. Thank you to the new patrons. $10 or more to get this shout out. Liliana Hansen. Liliana is my daughter's middle name. Alfredo, because it's my never mind. Alfredo Colon, Lawrence Wells, aka Bernie the Kiwi Dragon, Rebecca Jean Tullis, the Gimptastic Tafali, Jay Bean, Jill Hurst, and James. Plus a bunch of $5 patrons. Thank you guys so much. $10 gets you the shout out though. And then I can't forget Leith Richards. Thank you so much. Leith gave a huge donation to the show and truly has helped it become much more sustainable with that. To the Twitch subs. Let's start it again, bitch. To the Twitch subs very, very quickly. To P. Browsard, subscribe for 1 month at tier 1. Just Czar resubscribing at tier 1. 20 months of subscribed. Didn't-ish. It's dumb. Adam DeBomb resubscribing for 1 month. Saying the mama. Dory B resubscribed for 1 month. 3-month anniversary on the day Francesca returns. Sweet. Welcome back. Mazel tov. Thank you. Willie Gus resubscribing for 1 month. Oh my God, what a surprise. No member of your household owes us anything. Not you, not Matt, not the baby, not even Chitty, but thank you all. Thank you, Willie Gus. Rar Bear Dragon resubscribing for 1 month at tier 1. Congratulations, Franny. Great to see you. Great to see you. Creative Pixie, thank you for the bits. Lizzie Nepon resubscribing for 1 month at tier 1. Welcome back. Hunger Games 1989 resubscribing for 1 month at tier 1. 10 months. So glad you're back. And of course, Aussie Plant Dragon resubscribing for 1 month at tier 1. Wow, Woot, you're back. P.S. My tweet about Ramona was my most successful ever. Oh, there was a screenshot of me cradling Ramona like a bebe. Thank you guys so much for once again supporting this show, for being here. Next week, we got Nato Green back. We've got David Dayen of American Prospect. We're going to talk about Biden's agenda moving forward. Thank you to everyone who works on this show, to Paige Omek, the producer, Maximilian Inhofe, Alexandra Orness, and Andy Vasoyan, our editor. We stream every Tuesday, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. Follow us on Twitter at Bitchuation Pod, on TikTok and Instagram at Franny Fio. And I stream for the Twitchuation Room, now only an hour, but on Wednesdays. I will be restarting that the week after Thanksgiving, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. And I'll be back on the Damage Report that week as well. And remember, y'all, fight the power, fuck the patriarchy, and don't just bitch about it. Be about it. Love you guys.